All right, so we got a little bonus episode. We were on the phone talking, and you came up with the idea of like hip hop songs that have you in your feelings, right? Now, most of our list is from the 90s, but it's not exclusive to the 90s. So I think what we said is we'll go back and forth from 5 to 1. We're going to rank them,
Yep.
our top 5. But before, we want to talk about all the ones that didn't make the list, right? What are some of the ones that didn't make our list?
And listen, here's the thing. Maybe the younger generation might have some songs from, over the past 10 years that we,
Yeah.
that don't know. And I would like to hear them I would like to hear their comments as well.
I'm sure there's got to be a Drake, a J. Cole, a Kendrick record that it fits this mold. It has to be. So the first one that did not make either one of our top 5s is "Sky Is the Limit."
I mean,
Biggie.
look, Big's mom right in the beginning.
Yeah.
I always told you you could have whatever you want. That song actually just came on a couple days ago too, and I was listening to it. It was the edited version. And remember him talking about being in high school?
Yeah.
From gym class, passed off in global, only with a mobile. Can't you see like total? Like the song itself, one, with his mom starting the song off like that, and two, it's almost him writing that from the perspective of like when he was in high school, I think is
his younger self. And Clark Kent, before he passed, Clark Kent did an interview where he was saying like Clark produced that record and Biggie sang the hook as filler before they found a group to sing the actual hook, right?
And I don't 112 did the hook.
112.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was like the very early days of 112 joining Bad Boy, or they just didn't have 112 in mind for that particular record. But Clark has a version of Biggie singing the hook, and then they shopped around and they found 112, and then 112 winds up doing the original hook. But Clark said when he was mastering the record, he put Biggie's hook vocals very, very low. And he said that there's a handful of people, like his friends, the people who heard the original, they can still hear Big's voice in the background when they listen to it, because they know what to listen for and what parts he kept it in and stuff like that. I thought that was dope. Like, you don't hear a lot of like people at that level doing reference tracks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But to have Big sing a hook like Player Haters or something like that, I thought that was a dope story.
And listen, great song. And I think me and you both agree is our favorite album of all time, Life After Death.
Oh, 100%.
It's
the top.
My favorite album of all time.
It's the top hip hop. Yeah, no, I agree. It's the number one hip hop album of all time. I mean, there's no skips. Good night, baby. There's no skips on there for me. And yeah, it's an amazing double CD.
And guess what? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And my opinion is Life After Death is the best rap album of all time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we share the same opinion there, but for sure, there's a million people who probably have a different album at the top. So the next one on the list, a Wu-Tang, Can It All Be So Simple? So I think that's at the bottom of the feelings list. The hook is dope, and like the sentiment that the song is going for is there, but they're so grimy. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get too emotional about it, but that was the intention. I just don't think that they were so rugged. I don't think they had the ability to pull something like that off. You know what I mean? Like, do you get emotional when you hear Raekwon spitting about the crime side, the New York Times side?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hook gets you there, but like you said, the lyrics and the verses are on the grimier side of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the next one from that, I'll Be Missing You with, Puff and Fate. Remember them two coming out on stage after Big passed?
With the White Smoke and the Doves and Sting and everything. Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, come on.
And
that one.
Sauce Money wrote that.
I did not know that.
Sauce Money wrote that about his mom passing, but he wrote it obviously from the perspective of like him missing his mother is how Puff would have missed Big. And he just filled in the blanks with like stuff that made sense for Puffy to be saying about Biggie. But Sauce wrote that, he ghost wrote that record, and the inspiration he used for like the emotional side of it was his mom passing. But I'll Be Missing You, he never got like 100% of the clearance to use Sting's sample. So he pays Sting like X number of dollars a day, every day for that. And there's another one.
Sauce Money, underrated writer.
Oh my God, cuz.
You probably took all the stuff that Sauce Money wrote.
even if it didn't happen with Rockefeller, I wish he was still recording music in some way, shape, or form. He was a really, really good MC. Cause
Yeah, I agree.
one we have like I'll Be Missing You / We'll Always Love Big Papa. They're kind of like the same record with the same intent. Just on some hip hop shit, I thought We'll Always Love Big Papa was a little bit better. But the hook, and when we talk about records that have you in your feelings, I think I'll Be Missing You kind of takes the cake a little bit over We'll Always Love Big Papa. What's next?
So you got Scarface with Smile.
Smile. Now that's most of these, it's the hook.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Who's on that? John B? John B does the hook on that, John. Yeah. Scarface and Tupac Smile is a good record. There's going to be some stuff you're going to see. It's going to make it hard to smile. You know what I'm saying? That's the version with Pac is, that's definitely on the list for sure.
So some of these songs, yeah, like I said, I think the hook is what's giving the emotion. I think as you start getting into top fives, I think that's where the verses really start pulling you in,
Yeah.
you know, the things that really get you there. What's next?
Next one is Troy. They Reminisce Over You. Again, just like Can It All Be So Simple? It wasn't too grimy, but it's not an extremely emotional record, although that's the intention.
Nostalgic. It can bring back nostalgia
That's
when you
true.
hear that song too.
Yeah. It taps into that same emotion as like Summertime. When you hear Drums Please, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Next one is Song Cry. I can't see him coming down my eyes. So I gotta make the song cry. Do we know who he's talking about in that? I never knew who he was talking about in that.
No, I don't.
Song Cry is a dope record though. It's such a great way for a man to talk about crying. Like, I can't see him coming down my eyes. So I gotta make, you know what I mean? Like a dope way that he flipped that hook. And we talk about like the choruses or the meat and potatoes of these types of records. He did a good job with that.
And the beat with that too, like it just, that song, he definitely put that together. I'm going to go real quick with one newer song with Somebody Save Me on Eminem's On Coup de Grace with Jelly Roll.
That sample happened so quick. Well, after the original came out.
Yeah, the original song came out. Then you get the sample. And if you really listen to the lyrics of the song, it's almost like as if he didn't make it. You know, what would have happened?
And he's leaving letters to both of his daughters, right? Like, yeah, little time capsules. Yeah, that's a great pull for this list. And like that's a 2025 record. You know what I mean? But it's 100%. And even though it was so fresh, it's great that nobody could have like sampled that song better than M could have. You know what I'm saying? And Jelly Roll was on Andrew Schultz's podcast talking about like when he got the phone call. And he was like, he got the phone call and they were like, M wants to meet you. And he was like telling his boys, like, I'm gonna go see the wizard. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was so excited to meet M and talk about, and he was saying like, in the back of his mind, he wanted M to sample the first verse because Jelly Roll always wanted the first verse to be the hook. But I guess the other writers and stuff talked him into making the hook what you hear on the Jelly Roll record. But M sampled part of the first verse, and that made Jelly Roll much happier because that was his original idea for his version of the song. You know what I mean?
I'm a lost soul.
Yeah.
Baby, don't waste your time on me.
He was saying like that's his favorite part of the record, and he wanted to sample that. And he's like, when he got there and he heard it, that's what he was sampling. And he was like, he was so happy about that.
And listen, the Jelly Roll song itself is a really good song. The Somebody Save Me Jelly Roll song is, I'll listen to both of them. But I'm actually, like I said, I'm interested to hear other people's opinions on songs that maybe have come out from, 2010 and on. Maybe songs that we don't know about, or artists that we don't maybe listen to as much as. Obviously, for us, we're going to always have that nostalgia of the things that came out when we were growing up, just like somebody who's, 25 or 30 years old now might have that same type of feeling with totally different records from 2010 or 2015.
It's the memory attached to it that makes it the most special. And I would imagine kids 10 years younger than us may not have even heard half of these records. Same way that we're not going to hear their list. We may not have heard most of the songs on their list. So the next two are kind of the next two are also Jay. Where Have You Been? That's from the Dynasty, right? Daddy, Where have you been? Yeah. Yep. I just thought of another one. I'm going to add it to the list. It's not a top fiver, but it gets added to the list. They're recording this song, and Beans and Jay are there earlier than Scarface was. So Scarface gets there. He walks in. He gets a phone call from his boy. He steps out. His boy's telling him that their other friend's son just died. So then he calls his wife, and they're crying, and his son had just turned 2. And they're saying, like, you know, oh my God, like, imagine if this was our kid. Like, now, you know, once you get a baby, you understand those kinds of things differently. And so he freestyled the entire verse based on that phone call. Now, as I walk into the studio to do this with Jig, I got a phone call from one of my niggas. Said my homeboy Reek, he just lost one of his kids. And when I heard that, I just broke into tears. In the second hand, you don't really know how this is. But when it hits that close to home, you feel the pain at the crib. So I called mine and saddened my wife with the bad news. Now we both depressed, counting our blessings because Brad's too. You know what I'm saying? Like, just wrote the whole thing based off of the dude dying and that phone call. But to be able to have such a dope verse moments after hearing that news, I thought that was unbelievable, because Soon You'll Understand is a dope record. Just like we were just saying, the story behind it makes it way more fire.
Yeah. For sure. All right, so
the next one's a ripper, cuz.
I mean, this easily could have made it into a top 5.
Anybody's list. You can't argue if this is on anybody's list.
Renee with Lost Boys. Even just the way Mr. Cheek starts a song off. Here's a tune about this honey named Renee that I met one day.
Yeah.
Like the story of the whole thing is,
You just made me think of a whole different episode. Best ways to start off a verse.
Yeah.
You got, here's a tune about the shorty named Renee that I met one day. You got I break bread, ribs, $100 bills. I'm gonna write that down. We got to do that.
How does Nas start? If I ruled the world, imagine smoking weed in the streets without cops harassing.
Yeah. Best 4 bars to begin a song.
Even 2 bars. Think about it. I mean, the best intro to start a song off.
Yeah.
I mean, Biggie's got a bunch. Jay's got a bunch. Kanye. I mean, that's definitely.
That'd be hard to pick 5 or 10 off that list, cuz. So Renee might also be on the list of like one of the best hip hop songs of all time.
That whole album, like, honestly, is really slept on. I remember when that album came out, we were in 8th grade and summer going into 8th grade, I think. And you remember back in the day in Wildwood, where you would bet, they would spin the wheel on the boardwalk that, you would bet 8 spade. And if that came out back then, you could win a cassette tape.
Yeah.
And I won. And I bought the Lost Boys cassette tape.
The Lex Coupes, Beamers, and the Benz?
Yeah.
Nice.
Freaky Ta. Listen,
that's awesome.
If you go back and listen.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to that album, that's a slept on album.
Yeah.
For sure.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Shameless. Yeah, there's a lot of dope records on that. Yeah.
It's a good album.
Yeah. It's definitely
I just think I think the storytelling of Mr. Cheeks and the way he did that was impressive. It's a great song. 100%, great song.
100%. I don't remember the specifics, but he told the story about how he came up with that. That was a real girl from his neighborhood. He told the story on Drink Champs recently. Not a girl that he was involved with personally, but just a girl from the neighborhood, and it spawned the song. Are you familiar with this next record?
Which one?
Common the Light?
The hook, is that like, I'll be by your side?
There are times when you need someone, I will be by your side. Yeah, that's.
Oh no, I was thinking by your side. Is that Tyler
Jada Kiss?
Or is it Jada?
I'll be by your side. Yeah, that's Jada. Yeah. Common the Light. It's one of. I mean, it's my favorite Common record, but it's that might get honorable mention for me. That might be my honorable mention. Next, we got two from Pac.
So you got Brenda's Got a Baby, and I Ain't Mad at You. Now, for me, I Ain't Mad at You gets me right away. Just the way that beat drops. Yeah. The second that comes on, that's just one of them songs for me. And Brenda's Got a Baby. I mean, listen, Tupac was at the forefront of talking about these different issues and what was going on in the world, between, you always hear people talk about, some people are Biggie, some people are Tupac. I think they're both unbelievable artists. Tupac kind of, when during the Brenda's Got a Baby era, almost was like a different artist than when he did,
Hit 'em up.
Hit 'em up, and just the All Eyes on Me. And from both ends of it, though, they're both great. They're just different, where,
much more conscious, impactful, different. There were different stories, different vibes to all the records in the early days for sure.
But on both ends, still great records,
Oh, yeah. And we, Mush and I told a story about Brenda's Got a Baby. There was a guy who hired a private detective and found the mother and the boy. Like, Pac made that record from a news article about a real woman throwing a real baby in the dumpster. The guy found the news article. He found the name of the mother. He found the name of the baby. They were both on opposite sides of the U.S. He connected them. He flew the mother in, and they reunited like in 23, 24, 25 recently from this guy putting all the pieces together and stuff like that. It was wild. Like to even know that it was a true story like that. Not because Pac would have totally been able to make something like that up off the top of his head too. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's crazy. So this next one, I think it makes the list of non-top fives, but for a different reason. So I might have one in my top five that's in a similar vein, but cleaning out my closet doesn't make you sad. But in terms of feelings, like there's anger there.
Yeah.
Cleaning out my closet and like, I'm sorry, mama. Like the same way that Save Me is a letter to his daughters, cleaning out my closet is a letter to his mother. You know what I mean? And
the beginning of that, the beginning of that verse, what does it start? Have you ever been hated or discriminated against?
Yeah.
And he's talking about his own mother.
Right.
So it's like to start a song to basically,
and there's got to be a million people in the world who can relate to that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right.
You ready for top five?
Hold on. There's two more that I thought of while we were speaking. Does Killing Me Softly make the list? Does that count?
I mean, listen, the Fugees are a hip hop group, but
and Lauryn Hill raps sometimes.
Yeah, but not on that song.
Correct. And then Daddy by Siegel off the Becoming.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Oh, Daddy, you make me cry. You know what I'm saying? Does he have young Chris on that too? That Jones hot. I love that hook. Mace sampled that first, and then Siegel did it second, but Siegel did it way better. All right, so you ready for the top five?
Drum roll, please.
If I go first, that means that your number one will come out last. Would you prefer that?
Yeah, you can go first.
For sure.
Two honorable mentions before the top five. All right, so before we get into the top five, let's do at least an honorable mention each, and then we'll do the top five.
All right, so who's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention is Missing You, Biggie.
Just got the Ninja Puff card and shit. Yeah, it was my man was hyping it everywhere we went. Yeah.
Me and O be together. Like, and listen, that's another one of those songs. The second it comes on, I remember selling 3 bricks of straight flour. Got my man a beat down to the third power.
Yeah.
He didn't care. Spent the money in a half hour. Got some fish scale. Rain on competition like a shower. So the first verse is about that, right? Losing his friend, and then going on to the girl, and it's just with one on the hook, and them singing that song. And like I said, that just popped onto my just my random playlist on my way to work today, actually. And every time that song comes on, just with the way that they sing the hook, it just gets me all the way in my field.
And then, so my honorable mention would be You Must Love Me by Jay. So I remember the first time I heard it, and when you realize that he's talking about his brother and there was a shooting, like, it was just so wild to me to have the maturity to be able to forgive something like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, when it's someone like a sibling, I think it's the easiest, right? Mother and sibling would be the easiest to forgive for something like that. But still, like, I just thought that was so dope of a story. And then the ability for this young kid to forgive him. You know what I'm saying?
And the singing and like the melancholy singing on that hook. Yeah. And then the seriousness of Jay's bars and just the way he delivers that. Like, you want to talk about being in your feels. When he's talking about shooting his own brother, you can feel it.
Yeah.
And listen,
And he's talking about the gun was so hot it was burning his waist. You know what I'm saying? Like he gives you those little nuggets of like something physical and tangible that would resonate, and it's so well done.
And I think that's rare for somebody to you can really feel, I think, the way that he was feeling when it happened in real life, that he put
Right.
that onto a song. And I think that's a difficult thing to do.
Just like with the Feel It in the Air record, he conveyed the emotion, and you're completely in that person's shoes for that moment, for sure. My number 5 is Feel It in the Air. Now, just like we were saying with Cleaning Out My Closet, it's not necessarily sad, but there's depression in that. The state of mind that he must have been in at that point in time, like it came out while he was in jail, but he wrote it right before. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, putting myself in his shoes is fun when I listen to it. And like, it's just a different emotion.
And remember, like in the beginning too, when he's saying like my spidey senses is tingling.
Yeah.
And he's talking about reading people,
Yeah.
Is your handshake matching your brow?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and then, I'm not the captain of the yacht, but I'm on the boat.
On a boat. Yeah.
And the song itself, the hook and the lyrics of that song totally
have you in your feels. Yeah.
I mean, the second it comes on, the second that song comes on, I mean, all right. So my number 5 is Mockingbird, Eminem.
My God.
Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Everything's gonna be all right. And then, right, same thing. We've kind of this has really gone into the beginning of songs, right? Haley, I know you miss your mom and I know you miss your dad when I'm gone, but I'm trying to give you the life that I never had.
Yeah.
I can see you're sad, right? So right off the bat, to just start off the song, talking to your daughter and saying, I know you miss your mom and I know you miss your dad when I'm gone, but I'm trying to give you the life that I never had growing up.
That's crazy. And to flip, is that a nursery rhyme? What is it? Yeah.
Because remember at the end of the song, he says, and if that ring don't shine, I'm going to break that birdie's neck. I go back to the jeweler that sold it to you, make him eat every carrot.
Yeah.
So just a great song in my opinion.
Mockingbird definitely deserves to be on the list for sure. All right, so my number 4 spot goes to Life Goes On. How many brothers fell victim to the street? When I saw the video for the first time and the cat from Clockers is in the video as his boy, rest in peace, young. There's a heaven for a G. Realize I'd be alive if I told you that I never thought of death. My niggas, we the last ones left. But life goes on. Yeah.
Great song. Great song.
All right, who do you have at number 4?
All right, my number 4, where is Crossroads, Bone Thugs and Harmony?
Oh, miss my Uncle Charles, y'all.
I mean, listen, if you... same thing with, obviously their name of their group is Bone Thugs and Harmony, but just the way they do that hook. You remember the video when it came out? Remember they're like
walking up the side of the mountain and all?
Like,
yeah.
Graphics. And it's one of them things that that song could come on right now, and probably came out close to 30 years ago,
Whoa.
right? And the second he says, I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all, you're going into, he should have been home and nothing wrong. We don't know what he's saying.
What happened, cuz?
I don't know the exact lyrics, but
the minute you hear the first second of that melody, you know exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? I remember ordering that on the box, Channel 75, over and over again. And that was a ripper, cuz. That also might be one of the top songs of all time. My number 3 is Roses by Kanye.
Great song.
That's a strong record, cuz.
And
Hey Chick, that's his nickname for his grandmother. Hey Chick, what these doctors know anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's such a dope record.
And now does that one start? I know it's past visiting hours,
but can I please bring her these flowers?
And that song, the hook doesn't go till the end, right?
Yeah.
So right off the bat, just kind of hearing that, is it almost like a hospital beat?
I feel like you can hear the heart monitor or whatever back there too. Yeah.
And so he conveys that song without, the hook is at the end. You've already gotten all the feels before the,
Yes,
It's
but
only one verse, right?
are you saying that it's because it's like a super long verse? Are you saying it's because are you saying that he conveyed that with just the instrumentation too?
Well, a lot of these songs, right, are, especially the ones that are getting in your top 5 or honorable mentions, right? Like it's one of these artists taking the hook and then also bringing the verse, doing
Yeah.
both, right? Kanye starts that off and just does one long verse, and then with the hook at the end.
Yeah.
And same thing. It's like, these songs just starting off that song with, I know it's past visiting hours, but can you please give her these flowers?
That immediately puts you right into the situation. Without a shadow of a doubt, somebody's on their deathbed and they're important to him and he's trying to get there before they pass. You immediately are put into that situation. It's such a great way to begin that kind of record for sure.
Another one that we didn't talk about is Family Business.
And Addiction. Addiction is on that album too.
Yeah.
It's like Addiction and Roses are two of my favorite from what's her name?
Family Business will get you, Family Business will get you in your feels a little bit.
Family Business, yeah.
All right, so that was your number 3.
Yeah. Shit. I can't stop doing it. Yeah, that was my number 3. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Dear Mama, Tupac.
Oh my God. How do we forget about that?
I didn't.
Yeah,
I put it in my top 3.
Yeah, no, I mean me. Dear Mom is a ripper.
So that song, I was in middle school and when I was living in Colorado, we went to Utah for a week-long camping trip. And the ride was about a 7-hour ride from, Aurora, Denver to Utah where we were camping. And I must have listened and rapped that song 100 times. You know what I mean? And it's just such a great song. When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out
on the street.
So back at the
Even
time,
though you sell rocks, feels good putting money in your mailbox.
I mean, there's so many lines in that song that you can really, same thing. You can feel the pain.
Yeah, he puts you on the street with him as a young kid hustling who regrets the difficult relationship with the mother. You know what I mean? Like you got
talking about her being a crack fiend, even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. I finally understand it ain't easy for a woman trying to raise a man. You always
made miracles every Thanksgiving. Yeah.
I mean, that song is littered with just great lines. It's an unbelievable song. One of my favorite songs, let alone get you in the feels. It's just one of them songs that if I'm in the car by myself and that song comes on, I'm rapping the entire song.
Oh yeah,
100% of the time. You know what I mean?
And you're never skipping it. You're never skipping it either.
No.
So the next one, we both have the same song at number 2, so we might as well say it together. It's Ghostface.
All That I Got Is You.
All That I Got Is You.
I mean,
it doesn't get any more in my feels than that, cuz
it could easily be number 1 on anybody's list.
Yeah, complete.
If we kind of, just when we were talking, right, when we were just on the phone about coming up with
this was the first record you mentioned when you came up with the idea.
Correct. And it's one of them songs that this is what made me think of it. And it honestly, though, just the fact that when we started talking about that, within about 30 seconds, we had 10 of these songs.
Yeah.
Within 30 seconds of just talking on the phone, but this is an all-timer, and listen, this one I don't know how many seconds they give you to clip it, but just when it starts, with the singing, and then also, I didn't like to sleep with Johnny P to bed, and just the whole
thing, cuz
fucking roaches out the cereal box.
Yeah.
Sharing spoons, watching.
Share the same spoon, watching Saturday cartoons. Sugar water was our thing. Every meal was no thrill, cuz come on.
Listen, it's a great song.
He said he can't even sing it anymore. He can't even perform it anymore. He said this recently. There was a clip of him and Big Daddy Kane just hanging out. He said he can't even perform it anymore. It's that bad.
And even him talking about, sugar water and, like this stuff, right? Like we both grew up in Southwest Philly, right? I wouldn't say either of us were poor, right? But
No.
we grew up in a low income neighborhood, right? And like even just from me and you, the songs like you remember the one song I did with the growing up, it was Government Cheese. Like
Yeah.
I remember them pulling onto the street and giving out free lunches, right? And I would go I had lunch at home, but I would go get the free lunch just to get the apple juice, right?
Yeah.
And like even in some of the songs of things that me and you have done is like, as a youth free lunch, it was Government Cheese, kids running
Jeez.
down the block, it's
It's
100
100
degrees,
degrees. Yeah.
talking about playing in the water plug and, like all these things. It just, when he raps that song, you can totally feel where
Wipe the cold out my eye before school with her spit. Like, if that didn't happen to you, if your mom didn't do that to you before, you know what I'm saying? Come on, cuz.
it's, listen, like I said, that could easily be the number one, just the way with both the lyrics and the hook. And
Yeah.
that's what, to get into these, to be a top 1, 2, 3 of all time, you need to meld that together. And Ghostface literally did that perfectly. And I can see why he has a hard time, rapping that song.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
if I'm getting in my feelings listening to it on the way to work, I know how he feels about it. So it's
Yeah.
an unbelievable song.
All right, so I want you to go last. So I'll do my number one, and then you go last with your number one. So my number one is "Stan" by Eminem. So again, the hook. I mean, the verses are dope, and to be writing about a fan who is so fanatical that he winds up, like admitting that he's going to kill his girlfriend and stuff the same way that he did, like that's dope. But it's the hook. It's 1,000% that hook. Dido on that hook. She just murdered. That reminds me of like the ecstasy days down the shore.
I was going to say the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? It's that hook is an same thing. When you hear that record come on, you're looking so forward to singing along on that hook. It's just it's one of the only hip hop songs that can put you in a little bit of a trance.
And listen, his writing on the verses is unbelievable too, with just the way,
Yeah.
starting
You can't
off,
take that away from him for sure.
starting off where, where he's not that upset and he's writing them back and, you could have signed an autograph for Matthew,
Yeah.
and then getting into one and writing back at the end, some kid was drunk and drove his car over a bridge.
It's got 4 verses on that, John.
Yeah.
Stan gets madder as he goes, and then M writes him back. Yeah.
The hook is a 10 out of 10, and the verses are a 10 out of 10 with just the way he put that together of, he's only 4 years old. We waited in the blistering cold 4 hours and you just
said no. Yeah.
And then getting the progression of him getting more and more upset. And then, the culmination of Eminem writing, penning his verse back to Stan. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. All right, cuz drum roll. Who you got at number one?
My number one is DMX.
Oh my God.
So same thing. And listen, remember we talked, I think it was last year, you sent me the slipping acapella without the beat.
Mm.
And that even took me to another level with it, of hearing the way, like him singing that without the hook, just that melody
and the ad libs and when you hear an acapella, you hear a whole different song. But you're right, with something like that, you get to appreciate on a different level.
And listen, let's be honest. Like me and you, we both love music, right? Like since we've met, however long ago, it actually came out over the DMX album, right? You were selling the flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
Flesh. Yeah.
But from that point, right, the music has always been, how much we loved it. And then with us, making our own music and these things, and we have a different appreciation than some people might have. And when I heard, DMX's acapella to Slippin' and then put it together with, the actual song itself, like him saying, ate something, a couple 40s made me hate something.
Yeah.
Right. And it brings you back to, like, at that point, right? Like DMX almost by the time he's writing that song, he's already out of that. Right. But he's writing that from the point of view of when he was really in a bad place, and it totally comes across.
That's another, like how we were saying, cleaning out my closet. Slippin's another record that was created from anger.
Yeah.
He doesn't perform it in an angry way, but it was created from anger.
And like I said, listen, these lists, the best part about these lists is it's all opinion, right?
No one's right, no one's wrong.
No one's right, no one's wrong. Everyone else is entitled to their own opinion. I actually want to know what your opinion is. I want to know what the other person's opinion. Who's your top 5? And like I said, the other thing I'm interested in is what songs maybe that, like you said, because we're coming from a place of, we're both 44 years old, right? So our growing up is that mid 90s and on, right? So a lot of our songs are the Biggies, the Jays, the Tupacs.
And what's that younger generation? What's their lit? Yeah.
Because look, I'm an old dog stuck in my ways.
Yeah.
You listen to you'll listen to new tapes, and look, I'm even showing my age now. I'm calling it a tape. You'll run through somebody's whole, discography and listen to full albums. Where me, I'm stuck, I'm like that old head that's, 10, 15 years older than us that only wants to talk about Rakim and Big Daddy Kane and I'm stuck in, I like what I like. And that, listen, will I listen to, a J. Cole song or do I think Drake is talented and Kendrick? Yes, but I don't know what the newer songs of.
Yeah, no, me.
That they might get in their fields.
And do you think hearing any of these records as a grown-up, they would have had less meaning? Like, I know grown-ups wrote most of them and performed them all, but do you think you were more susceptible to these things getting through to you the younger you are?
I mean, listen, mate, here's the thing. You can't tell me, and like I said, the young kids nowadays, they think the new rappers are the best rappers, but you can't tell me the people and the artists on this list comprise some of the greatest artists of all time, right? So it's I'm always going to be stuck in my opinion and my ways of who I think did it the best. And I think the list that we came up with, like I said,
very strong list. Yeah.
I'd like to hear other people's opinions,
Yeah, guys, let us know in the comments. Please, we're going to put it out. We're going to have a couple different little reels of the top 5 each, but we're going to put the whole bonus episode out. So let us know in the comments who's on your list. If it's a different generation, if it's the same generation, it doesn't matter. We want to know what your top 5 is.
It's already ready already, but you knew that.
It's already ready already. All right, cuz.
It's already ready already, but you knew that. Mr. Boom Bap. Like, shares, page views by the thousands. Joseph E. Bags, he's bringing back nostalgia.